Welcome to the January 2024 City Council meeting. I am Mayor Ross, and tonight's City Council meeting is brought to you live using video conferencing technology by Zoom. And tonight's recording will be posted on the city's YouTube channel. So welcome to everyone, and thank you for joining us. We know we have several different special pinnings and promotion and recognition tonight. So thank you for joining us. City Clerk Dean, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Benson.
Here.
Councilmember Watton.
Here.
Councilmember Holloway.
Here.
Councilmember Washington.
Here.
Councilmember Cotton. Here. Councilmember Christensen. Here. Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
And Mayor Ross.
I am here. Thank you, City Clerk Dean. Council, will you please stand and join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? And Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please lead the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So our first item of regular business is to approve the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilmember Christensen. Council, any discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
A couple items. With my absence in the weather last week, I'd like to move the liaison and regional appointments to the next council meeting. Haven't had discussions and not ready to have that discussion this week. Can I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, second by Councilor Watton, to move item AB 24-013, council liaison and regular regional appointments to the next council meeting. All those in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, so we've been moving that.
And would also like to move, where'd it go? Recognition of Kat for her retirement to be right under the department badge pinning for Chief Bailey and Lieutenant Leswell. Laswell, sorry.
Second. Close.
Okay, moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Benson to move the special retirement recognition to following the fire department badge pinnings. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, that passes as well.
One more, would
Okay.
like to move council ceremonial oath of office to occur after the appointment of Economic Development Commission. That way we can get the fire department stuff out of the way. You guys can go have cake and we can then proceed on with our business.
Second. There's cake.
Moved by Mayor
Cake, all
Pro
right.
Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Benson's to move the council members' ceremonial oath of office following the appointment Economic Development Commission. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? All right, that passes. Any other further changes
That's it.
on the agenda? Okay. Okay, seeing none, voting on the overall agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, so the agenda is approved as amended. All right. But first, we are starting out with a public hearing. And so we have a public hearing regarding AB 24-001, resolution regarding Public Records Act policy, records management policy, and updated fee schedule. And I will now bring the open public hearing. In this proceeding, the community is invited to provide comments regarding the proposal of the adoption of Resolution 1675, the Public Records Act, adopting an updated Public Records Act policy, a record management policy, and an updated fee schedule. Those wishing to speak during comment must sign up, and we do have a list here. And speakers will be called on in order according to the sign-up sheet. For online attendees, please raise your hand if you're willing to provide public comment. Your name and will be added to the in-person sign-up sheet. And I will alternate speakers. So first, you would state your name and city of residence for the record. Direct your comments to council as a whole and not to individual members. Please note that this is not a time to ask questions of the council, mayor, or staff, or to engage in debate. The council will quietly and respectfully listen to your comments. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and when you have 30 seconds left, you will see a flashing yellow light. So now we open it to members of the public who wish to speak. City Clerk Dean, would you please call the first name on the list? And again, this has to do with the Public Records Act policy.
Martin Wheeler.
I want to congratulate the council. One, for making a council member my banker over here. Rob, he's fantastic, but for the mayor also for picking the right route. You have done well. Anytime you can get a homegrown fire chief, that is a plus. So my salute to you for making the right choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there any other person that we wish to speak to the Public Records Act policy? See no one in the chambers? No one online. All right. With that, we've now come to the end, and I now declare the public hearing of the resolution regarding Public Records Act policy closed at 7:06 p.m. Very good. Great. Now we come to the special presentations. We have Fire Department badge pinning for Lieutenant Robert Laswell and Chief Mike Bailey. Chief Bailey, would you please introduce Lieutenant Laswell?
You can stand here with me now. Sure, yeah, share the fun, right? Thanks for having us this evening and interrupting the council meeting with our full force here. Firefighter Robert Laswell has been a member of the department since April of 2003. During that time, he has served as a firefighter, engine operator, acting officer, and 2 stints as a long-term acting officer, which were 6 months in appointment when the department experienced vacancies at the lieutenant's position. Just wanted to point out too that these long-term acting positions are a challenging spot to be in. You have all the responsibility and duties of a fire officer, but on a temporary fill-in basis. During those 2 stints, Robert has excelled in these positions, has proven that he's ready for this next step in his career. Just a couple other things that Robert's responsible for in the department is he oversees the firefighter PPE, which is our personal protective equipment, our bunker gear, all the safety stuff that we wear. Program as well as the wildland program lead. Robert is a well-respected member of the department, a mentor to other firefighters, and an advocate for firefighter safety. I have the utmost confidence in his abilities, and I'm looking forward to him joining our leadership team. His promotion to lieutenant will be effective February 1st, and just wanted to make sure that we took this time to congratulate Robert on this achievement. So now if I could have the mayor come on up here. As we normally do, we got a little bit of tradition in the fire service. So the mayor is going to present Robert with his helmet, and then we're going to have Robert's wife Shay come up and pin his badge on. Silver one. And again, as a tradition of the fire service, his wife's going to pin on his badge for him.
Robert, are you smiling or wincing?
Yeah, pictures. We got to take pictures everywhere we got. Pictures. Pictures are good. Yeah. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. Come on up, family. Your big moment. Yeah. Come on, take a picture.
Step back a little, it'll help me get the podium out of the shot.
Two more coming down.
Oh.
She's good at editing. All right.
Don't lock your knees.
Testing. Oh, you hear me now. All right. Right. So now we get to pin Chief Bailey. So Chief Bailey was confirmed as the Snoqualmie Fire Chief at the December 11th, 2023 City Council meeting. And he has been a member of the Snoqualmie Fire Department for nearly 25 years, previously serving as Deputy Chief and Interim Fire Chief. And it is a great achievement for the city to have this caliber of leader within our department, within our city, be able to promote him to Fire Chief. So congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I have a few words to say, and then we can do it. Thank you. I'm extremely honored and humbled to have been selected to serve as the fire chief for the city of Snoqualmie. Just over 25 years ago, January 11th to be exact, I began my journey as a career firefighter with the city of Snoqualmie. Actually, we were standing where our station was located, probably right about in the back of the apparatus bay, maybe right about where we are right here. Back then, there were 7 volunteers from different departments who came together to restart the Snoqualmie Fire Department. Of the members, both career and volunteer at the time, only myself, Lieutenant West, and firefighter Darby remain. Although we do have Lieutenant Kelly Gall here with us tonight, who was originally part of the original 7. Others have moved on or retired, but we are still here and able to serve the city and community that we love. Over those years, we've seen many changes to the area and department, from 2,500 residents to 14,000, a couple hundred calls a year to just under 1,600. And in the early years, we could go days without an alarm to averaging 4.5 a day. Through all those 25 years, the constant has been the people, the relationships, and the bonds with the members of this great department. And that has driven me and shaped my experiences in my career. I'm so thankful that I've been chosen to lead this department into the future and continue the traditions and honor the service of those who came before us. Thank you to the mayor, council, and administration for the confidence in me and the opportunity they have given me. And then I also want to take some time to thank some of my family in attendance, my mom and my dad, who helped start this journey. His decision to join the Bainbridge Island Fire Department back in the mid-'80s to serve his community helped to instill in me the pride in the community and the fire service and my ultimate career path. He served for over 30 years as a volunteer with the Bainbridge Island Fire Department and the Whatcom County Fire Department. I also want to thank my brother sitting next to him, a paramedic and lieutenant with the Bainbridge Fire Department for 24 years. He was hired just a year after I was. We've come a long way since sleeping on the floor of the fire station when Dad did his overnights. And thank you for all your support and understanding of the profession that we chose. Finally, I want to thank the rest of my family, my wife, Stephanie, and my 3 girls, Sarah and Claire and Madeline. Over the years, you have endured many missed holidays, birthdays, and sporting events, as well as growing up in the community your dad works in, where everyone knows you and won't let you get away with anything. I know it's not been easy, but thank you for all your sacrifices. You're all amazing women, and I'm so proud of you. And to the one who isn't here tonight in person, but in spirit, I miss you so much, Jake, and I wish you were here to share in this accomplishment. I would have given anything to have you here with us celebrating tonight. These last few months have been so hard not having you with us, but we carry you in our hearts and our memories. And I know you're looking down with that big smile of yours, so thank you, son. In closing, thank you again for this amazing opportunity to serve this city and community. I'm honored to serve the men and women of this department, and I look forward to what we can accomplish together. Thank you.
Now we do the I can't talk, badge pinning, and Tiffany gets to do the honors. And you want the rest of your family up there?
Sure, why not?
Get the whole family.
It was worth it just to see my mom's eye roll.
We're proud of you. We're glad to be.
All right, you're going. I'm gonna have to. Sorry. Fancy last time you were.
I know, right?
Okay.
So next we have, Chief Bailey, I'll have you introduce this, the fire department retirement recognition.
Well, I'm getting a lot of time up here. Holy cow. Okay, one last thing we wanted to recognize tonight, and that's for Catherine Cat Cotton, who has been a member of the fire department since June of 2002. She used to live in the little house across the street right over there from the station when we started volunteering for us. And over the 21 years she has dedicated to the department, Kat has been an invaluable member, from responding to calls, the organizer of the pancake breakfast, several stints as an officer on the board of the Snoqualmie Valley Firefighter Association, or Snoqualmie Firefighter Association, a resident animal expert and a CBT instructor. Kat has served this department and community well. I don't think anyone in attendance from the fire department will ever forget her realistic training scenarios, most which can't be shared outside the fire department. Kat has always put the needs of the department and the city first. The department as a whole was overjoyed to see her successfully elected to the city council, although it did mean she would have to step away from the department. Thank you, Kat, for your friendship and your service to the department and citizens of Snoqualmie. If you tackle your new position with even a quarter of the effort you put into the fire department, the citizens of Snoqualmie will be well represented. Please accept these flowers as a small token of our thanks, and please don't hold it against me from now on if I have to refer to you as Councilmember Cott. You've earned it. And then we're also, as soon as we're done with this, if we could have all the fire department members that are here tonight to come up and take a picture, that'd be great. Everybody in the fire department, come on up. Anybody that was in the fire department, come on up. We'll have to switch.
Squish, 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 yes. Can you guys squish more?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some.
You're gonna have to squish.
Is there cake over there? Is that what they did?
All people in front.
Over this way, guys. Come on, can we get everybody? Do we need to-
Got everybody.
Okay.
Podium, front and center. We're back. Thank you.
I'm gonna, can everyone hear me? For those of you that don't know me, I just wanted to say, I'm never without a few words. So, I just wanted to say, what a wonderful experience this has been. As Chief Bailey was mentioning, a couple decades ago, I moved into Snoqualmie, right across the street from the fire station with my Dalmatian. So the handwriting was kind of on the wall after that. So, but it was, the station was right here where we're standing now. And I have to say, those were some really great times as well. I have been so blessed and fortunate in my life to have had multiple professions, as a paramedic, firefighter, a veterinarian, that have been so exciting, challenging, rewarding, and I have to admit, a little bit of fun too along the way. So we always got to make our own fun. And so I just hope that I meet the expectations and enable to perform, to continue to support the community in the city. And I want you to know it is really true what they say, that if you're passionate about what you do, no matter what it is, you never work a day in your life. And I'll tell you what, I have not worked a day yet in my life. So I want to thank you all, my fire family and friends, and and community members and all those that have supported me, my family that's here. And thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Now we're going to move on with our regular council agenda, so you don't feel obligated to stay, although you are welcome to.
You don't wanna miss this.
Yeah, no, there's cake.
Oh, we can put them right here. We can put 'em- set 'em right here.
They're gorgeous.
Oh, they do. Hopefully I won't get out. Oh, well. You look over here and see my face swollen.
I know what
Yeah,
I'll call in.
well, or you administer a shot.
Economic development's next.
Okay, thank you. An unofficial one. I don't know if this
It's coming tonight.
is tonight,
Yeah, it's tonight.
but go have cake. It's nothing important.
It was.
Yeah, it still is. Just want to make sure.
Oh, the room really
I don't know.
emptied out.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it always empties out like this. Yeah.
All right. Okay, moving on to the next items, AB 24-020, appointment to Economic Development Commission. So the purpose of this agenda bill is to confirm the mayor's recommendation to appoint Christina Hudson to the Economic Development Commission. Christina has lived in the city for 6.5 years and is the Economic Development CEO of One Redmond. She has over 20 years of economic development experience in the state, county, and local level in business retention, expansion, and recruitment. And she will fill position number 2 with a term expiring December 31st, 2025. Council may have a motion to confirm the recommendation to appoint Christina Hudson to the EDC.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Councilmember Christensen, second by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway. Any discussion? Councilor Benson.
I'm a little worried that we're considering voting on this with so many
sworn in council members. Shouldn't we get these newbies?
Actually, they all have been sworn in before.
I'll allow it then.
This is the ceremonial portion. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? And it's unanimous. Christina Hudson will be appointed or confirmed for the EDC, Economic Development Commission. She was unable to attend tonight, but she did ask that we pass along that she is looking forward to serving the community and appreciative of the opportunity. So. Okay, so next thing is let's go back. We're actually going to do the oath of office. Okay, so next item is council members' ceremonial oath of office. The council members have taken the oath of the office prior to this evening, and tonight we will provide an opportunity for council members to read the oath of office, and then there'll be an opportunity for photos. So City Clerk Dean, would you please administer the ceremonial oath of office?
We're gonna do it out here today. Start with the position. So
Hurry up, newbie.
You are having fun tonight. All right.
It's on fire. Don't get confused.
Okay. I, Robert Watton, have been duly elected to the office of the city of Snoqualmie, City Council Position Number 2, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of my office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability, and that I will support and maintain the ordinances, resolutions, and policies of the city of Snoqualmie and the laws and Constitution of the state of Washington and of the United States.
For goodness sake.
Oh, more pictures.
Hold it up.
Oh, okay. That's my problem.
Now you can clean up this town.
Councilmember Washington's next. Raise your right hand and read that, and I'll-
So just start with I, Louis Washington, have been duly elected to the office of the city of Snoqualmie, City Council Position Number 4, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of my office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability, and that I will support and maintain the ordinances, resolutions, and policies of the city of Snoqualmie and the laws and Constitution of the state of Washington and of the United States of America.
Councilmember Cotton. Oh, you brought your own, great.
Cycling.
So same thing, we'll just have you read that into the record. Raise your right hand.
I, Catherine Totten, have been duly elected to the office of City of Snoqualmie, City Council Position Number 5. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of my office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability, and that I will support and maintain the ordinances, resolutions, and policies of the state of, the city of Snoqualmie, and the laws and constitution of the state of Washington and of the United States of America.
Great. Congratulations. Councilmember Christensen,
Oh my gosh, how many of these are there?
we can do you next too if you feel left out. Yeah, right.
I, Kara Christensen, having been duly appointed to the office of the city of Snoqualmie, city council position number 6, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of my office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability, and that I will support and maintain the ordinances, resolutions, and policies of the city of Snoqualmie and the laws and constitution of the state of Washington and of the United States of America.
Totally believe that delivery.
That was
Yeah, you
the
really
best.
nailed it. You really nailed it.
Okay, the next item is an executive session. At this time, we will convene an executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101I to discuss the legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions, or to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency governing body or member acting in an official capacity is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency. Lasting approximately 10 minutes. And those attending will be interim city attorney David Linehan and city administrator Mike Chambliss. Possible action will be taken following executive session. After this executive session is concluded, council will return to the open session at approximately 7:45. It allows us to, we'll be heading upstairs to the conference room up there. So, all right, so we are 7:33 and we'll be back by 7:45. All right. We just completed our executive session. It is now 7:57 and no action will be taken. At this point, we will now provide time for residents to comment on items not on the agenda. A few ground rules. Snoqualmie residents who are not present have a right to have their elected representatives perform their duties on behalf of the city in an efficient and orderly manner. Therefore, comments will be limited to 3 minutes each. Please wait to be recognized and state your name and city of residence for the record. Direct your comments to the council as a whole and not to individual members. Please note this is not a time to ask questions of the council, mayor, or staff, or to engage in debate. The council will quietly and respectfully listen to your concerns. Public comments during this portion of the meeting shall be limited to topics concerning current, future, or requested city projects, actions, programs, plans, and regulations. Comments not pertaining to these subject matters are not germane, may result in your comments being suspended. And last, but please respect the decorum of these proceedings, as all due respect will be afforded to you. So with that, would anyone like to speak to any concerns that is not on the agenda? So please raise your hand. Okay, no one online is raising their hand, and no one in City Hall as well. So moving on, public comment is now closed. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Contains approve the city council meeting minutes dated January 8th, 2024. Approve the claims approval report dated January 22, 2024. 2024 legislative priorities. AB 24-018, resolution number 1678, ratifying emergency proclamation 24-02. AB 24-119, model train MOU 1-year extension. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second it.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, second by Councilor Washington. Is there any public comment regarding any of the items on this, on the consent agenda? If so, please make sure the comments related to the topics on the consent agenda, please limit your comments to 2 minutes. If so, please raise your hand online or in the council chambers. Okay. No one is raising their hand. Council, do you, any discussion? Councilor Johnson.
Can I just get a reminder for the emergency proclamation, if and what it is, what the maximum expenditure is under that authority?
I don't believe there. Go ahead, it's your turn.
I don't believe that your code well, I know that RCW doesn't, but I don't believe your code provides for a maximum expenditure either.
Any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? The consent agenda is unanimously approved. The first ordinance this evening is AB 24-002 biennial budget amendment to appropriate for the collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters. This is the second reading of ordinance 1286. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the summary and motion?
Summary and motion. I was Great for motion. All right. Purposes of the ordinance to amend the 2023-2024 biennial budget to provide city with appropriation necessary to cover the Teamsters collective bargaining agreement as provided for in Agenda Bill 23-143. All right, move to adopt ordinance number 1286, amending the 2023-2024 biennial budget. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Washington for AB 24-002 biennial budget amendment.
You sound like.
Is there any public comment regarding this item? So please raise your hand.
I read the wrong thing.
No one online and no one in the council chambers. Council, any discussion? And this is the second reading. Councilor Johnson.
Just wanted the reminder that much of this, if I remember correctly from last time, is being funded out of fund balance. Is that correct?
We have our Finance Director, Boutte.
Not in its entirety, but at least a portion of it.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council member. Yes, in essence, quite a bit of it will be funded out of fund balance. We also have a cost allocations to complete as well as a part of this appropriation, which is the additional amount above the $537,000 that the administration is requesting. And if I messed up, we also have our budget manager online as well that can correct me too. So thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? So unanimously passes the biennial budget amendment to appropriate for the collective bargaining agreement with Teamsters. So excellent, thank you. Moving on, second ordinance tonight is AB 24-004, ordinance establishing a 0.1% sales and use tax within the boundaries of the Snoqualmie Transportation Benefit District for the purpose of financing the costs associated with transportation improvements as authorized by RCW 36.73.065 and RCW 82.14.0455. This is the second reading of ordinance 1285. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the summary and motion?
All right. Chapter 36.73 of the revised code of Washington RCW authorized cities to establish a transportation benefit district with certain associated revenues, including a voted sales tax of 0.2% and a vehicle license fee of up to $50. The code was amended by Senate Bill 5974, Section 406, to include a 0.1% sales tax that can be imposed by a majority vote of the governing board of the district. This agenda bill seeks to implement the 0.1% TBD sales tax, bringing the total TBD sales tax to the current statutory limit of 0.3. And get down to the motion. As this is second reading, motion to authorize Motion to authorize, no, wait, we're authorized the first reading pertaining to the adoption of ordinance 1285, establishing a 0.1% sales and use tax within the boundaries of the Snoqualmie Transportation Benefit District for the purposes of financing the costs associated with the transportation improvements as authorized by RCW 36.73.065 and RCW 82.14.0455 and set forth the second reading and adoption at January 8th council meeting. Actually, this is a motion to adopt per the ordinance 1285.
Seconded.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Benson. Is there any public comment regarding this item? Which is the ordinance establishing a 0.1% sales and use tax. No one online or in city council chambers have raised their hand. So council, do you have any discussion or any questions regarding that? Councilor Benson?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of email comment and comment from citizens asking us not to do this because our citizens are beset by rising costs, inflation, and I am voting for this because not because I don't agree. I think we're absolutely beset on all sides by everything becoming more expensive. That's true of our citizens. That's true of the city. All of our services are becoming more and more expensive. So I just want to articulate why I am in favor of this very clearly. This shifts some of the cost burden to people from out of our city who are spending money in our city and using our services. It puts some of the burden on them, takes it off of our citizens. Our citizens will obviously pay probably the lion's share of the taxes that come from this 0.1% increase. But those same citizens have also said that they are not interested in services being reduced or diminished. And so we have to figure out a way to pay for these things when the cost of everything is going up. I am a person who by default believes that all taxes are theft. That's just the way I'm wired. However, I like to be able to drive on the streets, and I like our police and our fire to be able to drive on streets that are going to get them to me as fast as they can if I need them. And I think that that is the position of most of our citizens. So for that reason, despite the fact that I despise taxes, I will happily pay this extra 1/10%.
Councilor Johnson?
Yeah, I don't want to preempt any conversation here, but it could be that we have a complete rich discussion tonight, going over all the things we've talked about at our last 3 or 4 meetings, point by point. But if I were to guess, that might not happen. And in the minutes, it's going to reflect that this was the meeting where we adopted this, should it pass. And I'd hate for our citizens to go back and look at the recording and go, well, what about all these concerns? Why didn't they talk about all those things? So if we do have a little bit more of an abbreviated discussion, having had so much discussion over the last few meetings, including special meetings, I would just encourage our citizens to go back and watch those if a complete covering of all of those topics is not hit tonight before we vote on this.
That's an excellent idea. Council, any other questions or concerns, comments? Councilor Cotton?
I have to agree with Councilmember Benson that, I certainly share the concerns of all of our citizens that have taken the time to email us or come and testify about this. And, there's a lot of, I think, misunderstanding about what, where funding is coming from, sustainability of funding, all these things. I honestly think that this is one of the taxes that's the lesser of some of the evils because we are spreading it out amongst, visitors as well as the residents. So again, it's, nobody likes to raise a tax even by 1/10%. However, this is something that we've really gone over thoroughly and hope that in the future citizens, if they have enough of a concern, that they will approach us or talk to us, by either coming in to testify or sending us emails. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, it's unanimous, and AB 24-004 is approved. The ordinance establishing 1/10 of 1% sales tax, sales and use tax within the boundaries of the Snoqualmie Transportation Benefit District. Moving on to committee reports. Public safety, is there a report from Public Safety Committee?
Very brief.
Councilor Watton.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week at our Public Safety Committee meeting, we discussed goals and opportunities for our committee, and with input from the committee members, Cotton and Christensen, as well as input from our two chiefs. And that will help guide us as we have discussions throughout the rest of the year. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there any community development committee report?
No, community development was canceled.
Thank you,
The
Councilor.
report.
Thank you, Councilor Washington. Parks and Public Works Committee report.
We had a good conversation about the Meadowbrook Bridge that's going to need repair, but nothing further to report right now.
Thank you, Councilor Benson. First committee report for Finance Administration is AB 24-001, resolution regarding Public Records Act policy, records management policy, and updated fee schedule. And we just did have a public hearing earlier this evening, and there was no comment regarding these policies. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the summary in motion?
This agenda bill seeks city council approval of a resolution adopting an updated Public Records Act policy, Exhibit A, a new records management policy, Exhibit B, and an updated fee schedule, Exhibit C, and repeal of Resolution 1501. Down. Move to approve Resolution 1675 regarding RCW 42.56, the Public Records Act adopting an updated public records policy, a records management policy, and an updated fee schedule, and repealing Resolution 1501. May I have a second?
Second.
Been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Cotton. Is there any public comment regarding this? So please raise your hand. I'm not seeing anyone online nor in council chambers raising their hand. Council, any discussion? Councilor Benson?
I'm looking at the fee schedule under budget impacts. And I just want to understand it seems like with some of them, there's between the current and the proposed change, some of them become more expensive, and it seems like some of them become less expensive. Am I reading that right?
City Clerk Dean?
I'm not sure which ones become less.
Well, for
expensive.
example, the electronic flat rate or electronic file flat rate looks like that becomes. It looks like it becomes less expensive, but maybe I'm just reading it wrong.
So that was part of the reason why it's being updated is because right now there's not a lot of clarity on when we can charge. The way it is now, it's just the 67, 57 an hour, but it doesn't really say how do we calculate that? And so the way we have been charging is by uploading fees. So of course we can't charge for searching for records, but once we have the records, then once we upload them into the platform where we release them, but it takes, we can do 100 emails in a minute. So at $1.12 is what we charge. But it's really hard for all records, right, to do it that way. It's easier to do it, and it's more best practice what other agencies are doing to do it this way, where we're charging more like a flat rate, like you get so many records. And so
So it sounds like I am misreading it. So 25 cents per record is potentially, it's potentially $25 a minute.
well, depending on how many records people are wanting, we give the first 10 for free. And then after that, then there would be a charge, and it may potentially be higher than the $1.12 per minute, but that's where we're one of the ones where we just really need to get some clarity on when and how we're going to charge. So it depends on the request, how many records they're asking for. And
My concern, the reason I'm asking the question is that as these are public records, the public has a right to be able to access them. And I have heard stories about the federal government and state governments, not specifically our government, but using fees like these as a punishment for people who are looking for public records. And I would hate for our fee schedule to be used punitively if somebody's just honestly seeking public records. I'm also I guess a lot of the things that people are requesting are emails that wouldn't necessarily be easily accessible online, or
right, emails are not accessible online. Police reports, that aren't accessible online. Some of our stuff we do put in the document center, and that's all available for free. Most of the requests that we get, I would say, 75% of them, it's just one thing they're asking for. They know specifically what they want, and it's the other ones that are a little bit more broad. We did have a request recently where they wanted a year's worth of a certain type of police. They were looking for like vehicle prowls, right? And it was an organization, it wasn't an individual. And we ended up charging, right? Because there were quite a few records, and they didn't even hesitate in paying that. I mean, so organizations know that there's a cost of doing business, and when they go and they throw out the net to see what they're going to get, they know that because everyone else is charging. When I look back, when I had finance pull the report, we only charged last year for maybe $469. So really very little is what we're charging.
and if I remember correctly, that was for 288 hours of work in providing those public records.
Yeah, and a lot of that was the police department. When they get requests from from insurance companies, the insurance company will just send a check for $5 for the police report. That's just the way they do business, and so it's not in the industry. It's not that unheard of.
But if a citizen is looking for some specific public records, and they need 10 different records, there's not a charge associated with that necessarily.
Well, if they can't articulate what they're asking for and identify an actual public record where we can find it, then they are casting the net, right? So we really are like providing all that hopefully we can get to them. When they are more cooperative and help us help them, so to speak, get what they're looking for, then there usually isn't that, when we start talking to them on the phone, like, is this what you mean? You want all the records for the road project on the Beta and the Alpha Street? They're like, oh no, I don't want all that, right? So we try to pinpoint with them, work with them to see what they really want and try to get that from them. Of course, I have as a public records officer, I have the ability to waive fees if a citizen can't afford them. But again, I'm going to work with the citizen, make sure that we can get them what they need, right? And then if they don't have an ability to pay, then we have the ability to waive the fees.
Councilor Cotton?
Yeah, and isn't this also to bring us up to kind of up to date with like staff shortages and like you're saying, the man hours that some perhaps of the more frivolous requests for just take up so much of the clerk's time that this gives them the ability or brings us up to speed where they have the ability to, you know, make a decision that, yeah, it took me 16 hours to get all this paperwork together. And so, I mean, yes, people are aware that in most cases, they do need to pay for extensive records.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
So it's partially keep in mind that before this RCW, there were individuals who would come by and for unsuspecting cities, ask for police reports for the last year. All police reports for last year. There's a lot of information that needs to be reviewed and redacted that becomes a very time-consuming effort on part of the city. RCW was put in place so we can put in place a fee structure that says, okay, if you're asking that, this is the additional cost that the city is going to pick up as a result of your request. And at the end of it, your request you need to pay as self-protection. Many cities in the past before this would actually end up being sued as non-responsive. I'll leave it at that, how I characterize that activity, but it was not done with the intent of doing anything with that data. It was done with the intent of having the city thrown a job that was impossible for them to do and then to get them in trouble afterwards. Okay, so now we have a fee structure in place that if your request is well structured, the fees aren't that much, and if you can't pay, they may be waived. If your request is not well structured or intentionally vague, yes, the cost can go up.
Councilor Benson?
And this is probably a question for our city attorney. That makes sense. My concern is, my concern is at what point do we make the determination that somebody's making a frivolous request? There's got to be some sort of danger in deciding that somebody's request is frivolous. And I would imagine that if we looked at all of the requests that have been deemed frivolous over the course of time, there were some that were very not frivolous. They were and were important. So my question is, to what extent is the city in danger of making that assessment? It sounds like what you're describing is saying, hey, this is a really big public records request that's going to require a lot of hours of city workers and include a lot of copies. So these are the costs associated with retrieving that. Is that what you're wanting to receive? If that's the way that it's structured, then that seems to make sense. But I guess I'd be interested in city attorneys.
City Attorney Linehan?
Okay.
Well, so first off, cities aren't in the business of making value judgments about the public records request. We respond to all public records requests. And if they don't provide a reasonable description of an identifiable record, then we either tell the person that we don't understand what records they're looking for and ask for clarification, or if we can identify what records they're looking for, then we give them a time estimate, even if it's a very broad request of how long it might take or when the first installment will be delivered. So there are no, I mean, I've only been working with the city of Snoqualmie for 6 months or so, but my partner Anne Marie has been doing public records work for a long time. And to my knowledge, we've never declared a public records request frivolous or not, or that we wouldn't respond.
Sure.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
More to the point, I think according to RCW, we have a responsibility to be responsive
Mhm.
to public records requests. bless her heart, she may actually inform the user, or the requester, can you, this is gonna be pretty significant. Do you want to narrow it down to a specific field or whatever to try to help the requester in case, but we do not get to make judgment of whether it's whether the reason for the request is valid or not.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, so it's unanimous, and the resolution regarding Public Records Act policy, records management policy, and updated fee schedule is approved. Next is AB 24-014, council meetings schedule 2024. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the summary and motion?
Purpose of the agenda bill is to review the 2024 council and committee meeting schedule and consider canceling the following meetings to allow council and staff advance notice of time off for work-life balance, that being August 26 and December 23 of 2024. Short from there, and really this is recommendation is move to cancel the August 26 and December 23, 2024 city council meetings.
Second. It's moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Christensen. Is there any public comment regarding this item? Seeing none online or in the council chambers. Council, any discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
So coming from the industry, I do have difficulty that we don't have staff who can pick up where other staff goes on vacation. I don't believe we have restricted that, Christmas is Christmas, but I don't think we've restricted staff. They almost take summer vacation at the same time. So I kind of have an issue with the canceling the August 26th. We may be gone at different times during the summer ourselves, but there's 7 of us, and the assumption is the remaining council members, as long as we have a quorum, will pick up and go. So I guess I'm looking for council feedback of, do you want that August date on there? Or you want it off?
Councilor Benson?
Yeah, I would agree. And also the 23rd. I mean, I am going to have my stepmother or my mother-in-law and my sister is going to be in town with her family. And I really need those meetings. But
Recorded.
How much was that with sarcasm?
Okay.
And how much was an actual?
Councilor Johnson?
I do believe that we can function in August. I believe that we can absolutely have that meeting. We're not all going to be on vacation at the same time in August. So it seems like we'll be able to work that meeting out. The 23rd is really close to Christmas. I get that one. But
Councilor Johnson?
I think it'd be really nice for staff to know that they have a time in the summer when they can schedule things in advance. A lot of places fill up if you don't get your reservation in for a hotel or other kinds of things that you want to do, activities, especially in the summer. So I'd really like our staff to have the opportunity to know that they have a date that they can book their hotel and know that they're not going to have to be here, even if it's in some place that doesn't have Wi-Fi and they can't, not Skype, and we call it Zoom. Got to get the right company there. They don't zoom in. So I'm in favor of canceling the August 26th meeting.
Councilor Christensen?
I'm in favor of canceling both for the same reason. Obviously, we can show up or run, with fewer than the entire council, but I think it is more fair to let staff have that opportunity to plan and be able to go ahead and do that in both December and August.
Any other comments? Councilor Washington?
I too agree that, we're getting into the last part of the summer there. And, I think it's prudent to be able to allow staff to have that time to plan. So I too am in favor of counseling both the August and the December meetings.
Any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Okay, seems like the ayes have it with the opposed.
Are you sure?
Opposed
Maybe we
by
can-
Councilmember Benson. So, thank you. And our staff thanks you. Moving on, AB 24-007, Resolution 1677, to provide a submission of a ballot proposition to the qualified electors of the city at an election to be held August 6, 2024 regarding a 0.1% public safety sales tax. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the summary and motion?
Chapter 8214.450 of the revised code of Washington authorize city to impose a sales tax of up to 0.1% for public safety with voter approval. Counties may also impose a public safety sales tax under the same statute up to a maximum of 0.3%, and the combined city council sales tax rate for public safety may not exceed 0.3%. However, King County currently does not impose a public safety tax. Resolution 1677 calls for an election and certifies a proposition for submission to the King County Director of Elections to be placed on the ballot for the August 6, 2024 primary election. And with that, I'll go to move to authorize the mayor to sign resolution 1677 to provide a submission of a ballot proposition to the qualified electors of the city at an election to be held on August 6th regarding a 0.1% public safety sales tax. May I have a
Second.
This has been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Benson for the resolution to provide submission of a ballot proposition for the 0.1% public safety sales tax. Is there any public comment regarding this item? See no one online or in City Hall raising their hand. Council, any discussion? Councilor Johnson.
Just to make sure that the public is clear that this is not the council that is making this decision. It is going to be the people that get to decide this one. And then I'd also just reiterate kind of what I said earlier about this particular tax. Could be that once again, we rehash all the points we talked about over the last several meetings. If I had to guess, we're probably not going to, because we already had those discussions, but I would really encourage the public to go back and watch our special session toward the beginning of January and our last council meeting. And I think we may have even had another special session. I don't even remember at this point, but we've talked about it a lot.
Councilor Benson.
Yeah, I love that this one is one that the voters get to vote on. I think that the citizens of Snoqualmie really appreciate the elements of our public safety that this will pay for, our police, our fire department. I think we, as a city, have made it very clear that we want those. And this is the best possible way to, the best kind of tax to use, because it does spread it out beyond the residents of our city to have visitors helping to pay for those. So I think it's great that that our citizens are going to get to vote on this.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway.
Apologize, it was covered last meeting, I missed part. But city attorney, I understand if we go for REIT increase, property tax increase, council is somewhat limited in what they can do, and there is a pro-con committee put in place to support that. Is that similar here, or what are the restrictions on council as far as taking a position on this prior to the vote?
Oh. So there are restrictions. I mean, and I'm happy to circulate a memo in a confidential setting so that you can kind of see the limitations on the advocacy that council members can put forth with regard to a ballot initiative. You're absolutely right, there are some limitations. So happy to kind of flesh those out. We've had this come up in many other cities, so I have a good packet I can circulate and hope everyone gives good guidance for everyone and can clarify from there if you have further questions. But I'm sorry if that didn't fully answer your question.
No, it's just it's been a while since we've done one of these. It
Yeah.
might be good to actually kind of run through it in the next council meeting briefly, if you could.
Of course, yeah. If you prefer me to do it in an open session, I'm happy to do that. I'm also happy to send
anything.
it to you in a confidential setting either way. But
I'd appreciate that.
okay, sure, yeah.
And then should there be pro-con committees, or is that optional for us to set up, or?
That's certainly true on any kind of ballot initiative where you would have that. You would appoint a pro and con committee and then hands off. So
Does that applies to this also?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so we need to take the action to start identifying those committees.
Any other questions or discussion? I do have one question. So at the legislature right now, there's a bill that would allow for cosmetic implementation of a public safety sales tax. And so if that passes, then would that actually override any vote that we have here tonight,
It would depend on the effective date of the legislation.
July 1st?
Be July 1st. Yeah, I guess it'll also depend on, is there a provision in the bill that would address kind of its retroactivity? Does it affect pending ballot initiatives or not? I would think if you're already on the ballot, it probably wouldn't affect it, but I'd have to see what's actually in the text of the bill.
Yeah, and it's also has to do with King County. They can actually, if they choose to take the public safety sales tax, then the cities can't.
Yes, correct.
By July 1st.
Yep.
So if you vote no on this and that bill doesn't pass, or it passes and King County takes the public safety sales
22%,
tax,
yeah.
then we're actually out. So probably be good if we voted on this, made your decision, and then we'll also follow the legislature.
Certainly safer if you want to have it go into effect to get it passed sooner rather than waiting for the legislature to
Right.
put a spanner in the works.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
So no, in line with what you've discussed, and it's just it's a homework question not to be answered tonight. I know we know the date by which we need to get the request in to get it on the ballot. There's a subsequent date, I believe, that we can request to pull it from the ballot. We probably need to know what that date is, given what you're discussing, so there may be opportunity for us to pull this back if the state takes other actions.
Yeah, I'm not aware of the date, but that's a
Yeah,
good question.
that's why I said homework question. I don't want to put anybody on the spot tonight for that. That's a go look.
Sounds good. Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Right, passes unanimously to submit a ballot proposition regarding the 0.1% public safety sales tax. Right, next item is AB 24-016, 2024 salary schedule and retention pay system for non-represented management and professional employees. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the summary and motion?
The intent of this agenda bill is to establish the 2024 salary schedule and retention pay system for non-represented management and professional employees. Salary schedule will establish employees at the 60th percentile of comparable cities, originating from the January 2023 classification and compensation study, which was Agenda Bill 23017, and provide a 6% cost of living equal to recently approved Teamsters collective bargaining agreement, which was Agenda Bill 23, AB 23143. Furthermore, the agenda bill would establish an increase in pay for those providing enduring service to cities of Snoqualmie, replacing the pay for performance system as proposed for repeal in Agenda Bill 24017. Increase the step scale from 3 to 9 and replace automatic step increases on anniversary date with step increases on a satisfactory performance evaluation. The 2024 salary schedule and retention pay system would be retroactive to January 2024. To move to approve the 2024 salary schedule and retention pay system for non-represented management and professional employees. May I have a second?
Second.
So moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Washington for the salary schedule and retention pay system for the M&P employees. Is there any public comment regarding this item? Not seeing anyone online or in council chambers raising their hand. Council, any discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Holloway?
Guess other than I have a real hard time taking pay for performance out. But again, if the step increases are solely based or required from a positive, and we may have a discussion what positive means, but a positive performance review, I can vote aye quietly.
Our city administrator, Chambliss.
Our HR manager's in the back of the room, about as far as she can get away in my old seat. She has put a lot of work into updating the performance review process. I think it's up to 13 pages. Not all of that is the performance review. There are instructions in there and identifies the traits that need evaluating. And it's really 3 performance reviews in one. There's a self-assessment section. There's the traditional supervisor assessment section. And there's also a 360 assessment section where, you know, subordinates or peers are actually providing input to the supervisor also. So we believe it is a very comprehensive evaluation package. The PFP program as it is now is not as comprehensive. That program is limited to up to 6 projects, a minimum of 2 projects. There are some arbitrary sections in it where a supervisor is assigning weight to those projects, which affect the calculations, which isn't really fair to the employees. And there's not real good, clear direction for those supervisors on how to weight projects. Like in my case, how would I weight the sewer expansion to the Parkway project when I was in Public Works? You know, they're both very critical. One's more public than the other, but the other one's probably more important to the future of the city. And it was a little messy. The new process will be much cleaner. And that's also the recommendation we received from Summit Law on the PFP, that it was a little shaky and that the better way to go is to tie the performance appraisals to the step increases. And then the final thing that this does is rather than look at just 6 projects, which may or may not be totally under the employee's control, is it brings it back to a holistic examination of the entire job description and their whole performance, which I think is a much better evaluation of their total performance. Because I could have a superstar that's great at knocking out projects, but horrible on customer service or doesn't get along with coworkers. And we need that whole picture in order to guide development and in those rare cases, corrective action.
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway.
I guess partially my concern though is if everybody gets a good review, everybody gets an annual step increase. Whereas if we really want to increase the ability, skills, and everything of our staff, that's contrary. In some corporations, in some markets, bad term, but I'll use it. They will actually set expectations of a certain, the expectation is that there's a certain percentage of not met on performance. And you go through your evaluation and it forces the management to actually do that hard, distasteful work. So that's my only concern is I don't want us to get into a condition that it's everybody goes. If we have somebody who's not performing, there should be an expectation that there's a not met and not a step.
That is the expectation.
Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? It's unanimous that the salary schedule and retention pay system for MMP employees has passed. Thank you. 5th item, AB 24-017, Resolution 1679, repealing Resolution number 806 concerning the establishment of the Management Professional Employees Performance Management System. Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, would you please read the summary and motion?
If you did the last week, I do this one, but I'll do
A
it. anyway.
lozenge or something?
The intent of the agenda bill is to repeal the city's management professional employee performance management system, which provides eligible non-represented management and professional employees the potential to earn an additional percentage of pay annually on top of their salary based on satisfactory performance when the process outlined on resolution 806. That I will move to approve resolution 1679, repealing resolution 806 concerning the establishment of the management professional employees performance management system. May I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and second by Councilor Washington.
Nailed it.
The other W. But
Repealing.
anyway.
And number 806. Any public comment regarding this item?
Confusing, and we look alike.
Seeing none in council chambers or online. Council, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? It's unanimous and it is repealed. Any further report from F&A committee?
John, no further report.
You want to just talk to us for a while?
Oh, I'm done.
So
Thank you.
the next item, there's a couple items under the committee of the whole that were added by the F&A council committee. One is council retreat planning discussion. And I believe this one wanted to figure out whether you wanted F&A to plan the council retreat or an ad hoc committee. So Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, do you want to kick this off?
Okay, I mean, that's the basis of the discussion is we do need to plan a 2 day and a half, see how it goes, council retreat. We can either do that out of F&A or ad hoc committee. Tell you the truth, I bring this forward because there was an ad hoc committee last time and I personally was unsatisfied with the results. Okay, so I really want, my preference is that the discussions in regards to the planning of this retreat are at least in a form where there is public record. Similar to the video, we have all this, not just sparse notes. But I leave it up to you guys. I'm willing to go either way. I had a hard time jumping forward with a position I was uncomfortable with. So give me your advice.
Councilor Washington.
Just a thought, are we still looking to potentially have the retreat in Q1? Or is it no?
We should have it in Q1.
That'd be your preference. And it doesn't have to be a day and a half. It could be just a day. Maybe it's more about council getting to know each other, looking at goals.
Dirtfish.
I do think, I mean,
Mayor Pro Tem Holloway.
okay, forgive me.
Sure.
We do have some new members of the council, so I do think there ought to be, similar to what we've done in the past, at least finances review of what are the different kinds of finances, what's the general fund, how's this made up, where do we get our tax revenues, what's the percentages of that, and any restrictions in regards to those things. Drew, you know the stuff we've done in the past. Some of that background, there may also be background of, we could get in discussion of what exactly are our public utilities? How many reservoirs do we have? And what is a pressure relief valve? A pressure reduction valve, and why do we have this?
It's not a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah, and
So that would be part of the ad hoc committee or F&A committee that would plan
we'll
this.
discuss that, yes.
Right. So we're trying to figure out who's going to help plan that. Councilor Benson?
Clearly Drew needs to be on whatever committee that is. So I nominate him and Kara and Brian. There you go. There's your committee. Boom.
Well, we're thinking maybe 3 council members, and if you need staff, we would have maybe our city administrator or city clerk. Councilor Johnson?
Perhaps to save on some staff, which I know that that's been at a premium. We could just keep it in F&A, and we could keep Councilmember Benson's suggestion of Mayor Pro Tem Holloway and Councilmember Christensen. And humbly, I would submit myself then on FNA as being a third member. And most importantly, saving city staff.
Sure has to be.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I think Councilman Johnson's
Councilor
at
Johnson?
least
Or Councilor
3/4 of a Drew, so, okay.
Any other comments? So everyone in favor of having FNA Council Committee be the committee to set up, to talk through the council retreat or to plan it?
You guys okay with that?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? Right.
I do ask council if there are particular subjects that you're curious about, send it to myself or the other FNA committee members, so that we can start to work an agenda and talk to staff of how long does it take to talk about pressure relief valve, pressure reduction valve, so pressure relief something else.
We call those blow-offs.
Us.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we'll put that on the agenda for the next FNA meeting then. Next item is council open house or town hall discussion. So Mayor Pro Tem Holloway.
So my thoughts, and I'll throw a caution in here and ask for your advice. My thoughts are that we have a council open house on the February 29th. It being a leap year, we got an extra day. Or use it. I would like us to kind of collectively brainstorm what subjects we think might be discussed. And then to action that to the appropriate committees for generation of at least a fact sheet for those discussions. So that for, somebody may want to come and talk to us about the rat infestation, which we don't have. But you never know what subjects may come up in here, but at least we know what the big hitters are at the moment. We ought to work those up as a council position in the appropriate committees and roll those up. And that is my caution. So here's the advice I want is if we just have an open house, we are giving control of what the agenda is to those who come and attend. If we can structure it so that we have an open house and we determine what agenda items we think are important right now and prep for those focused discussions. Or some combination of that. Which is your preference to have open agenda or a structured agenda going into the open house on the 29th?
So if I just want to point out, there's 2 open houses in a town hall coming up between now and then that we would really request all of you attend. So we have January 31st is an open house for the community center expansion. February 8th, which was rescheduled from last week, is an open house for the community center expansion. And then we have a town hall February 28th. So I can't imagine you want to have a town hall on community center expansion on the 28th and then an open house on the 29th. So perhaps you can look at March and give anyone that was married on the 29th an anniversary date. Allow them to stay home and go out to dinner.
I'm not hard set on the day.
Okay.
We may say at the council meeting, if there were town halls and community center, and that's to save time, that may not be an agenda item for us to discuss. Although I think that'd be a hard sell. Do we want to consider other dates? Go ahead.
Councilor Benson?
I'm always excited to hear what the public wants to talk about. I think we set agendas for a lot of meetings and public's going to show up. I think they're more inclined to show up if they know that they can talk about what is important to them. And the more public that shows up, the better, because we get a better pulse on the city.
Well,
Councilor Johnson?
Yeah, I was thinking that, probably the later date, then if we're gonna have a town hall on the 28th, then probably the 29th is a little bit too close to that. So maybe push it back to sometime in March.
Councilor Watton?
I would be very interested in seeing after our council retreat, more thought around this but I would like us to do something and especially as open as it can be so that people can bring their concerns and helps form our priorities as well. But I'm not opposed to the idea.
Councillor Cotton?
Thank you. I had a question on how does the city typically work that you had said that you wanted maybe some input on, what the public would like to discuss. And I know like with Kim Schreier's town hall meeting this week, they sent out, you emailed in and actually listed, questions or concerns that you had to, sign up. I didn't know, does the city do that as well, or typically just open door kind of a thing?
I'm unaware that we have done that in the past. I'm aware that we've set agendas to say we're going to have, the other open houses we have is set agenda, we're going to talk community center.
Right.
And we've done other ones where it's open to discussion of what people want to discuss.
Open mic night.
Yeah, I was not going there. We've already had open mic night here, and I don't want to do that again.
Councilor Mayor Pro Tem Holloway.
So how about shift it? Would it be agreeable to do shoot for March 29th? I'm just concerned there's some logistics up front to find a location if we're not going to do it here.
March 29th?
March 29th. Yeah, that's a Friday.
You said Friday?
It'd be
Yeah,
Friday.
it's a Friday. Yeah. So it's great for me.
Does that conflict with other? I don't see any.
It's Friday.
Fair point.
You can,
It would
it
be
could just be
Friday.
council if you want to have it. You
Or
may
we
not
could
have
do it March
support.
28th.
Oh,
Do
the
it Thursday,
28th.
so we're not messing a Friday evening up.
I think the 28th looks fine.
Okay, at least that gives us a shooting point to have discussions around.
Yeah, the 20th works.
Okay.
And again, I ask that if there are let's do email brainstorm. Let's see what the subjects are we think might come up and try to prep for those particular subjects. Keep in mind, we may get something that is not covered under that discussion, but we'll have to deal with it with that.
Sounds great. We'll put that on our calendar.
Okay.
Great. Thank you. Moving on, I have the mayor's report. It's going to be very short because I want to give all the focus to our city administrator. But first of all, just thank you to our Parks and Public Works, our police, our fire departments, our communications team, and just all the other staff that pulled together during the snow, ice, and windstorms that we had over the past week. So they all did an excellent job. So thank you. I mentioned already, community center expansion, open houses, January 31st and February 8th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the YMCA. And then town hall on February 28th. I'm not sure where that's going to be. But, well, there's information out there. So anyway, plan on those different evenings. So now we'll turn this over to our city administrator who will provide our 2023 year in review report.
We couldn't go one night without a PowerPoint. So,
Sure we could.
so we worked with the department heads and we pulled out of them the top 10 accomplishments of 2023. So the first one, once I get all the boxes, the Zoom moved out of the way so I can read it to you. The fire department responded to 1,572 calls last year, second highest in department history. 56% were EMS based, 40% were fire service related calls. Number two, the Snoqualmie Police Department reached full officer staffing levels for 18 days for the first time in several years through a streamlined hiring process that was created by those two in the far back corner of the room, Chief Lynch and HR Manager Johnson. And overall, the crime statistics in town are down compared to the previous year. The city secured approximately $4.9 million in grant funding to support infrastructure projects, the community center expansion and community programs. And this is grant funding that saves taxpayer dollars to do those things. So staff puts a lot of effort into the grants. It is really appreciated. They probably get sick of us reaching out and saying, hey, how about applying for this, or that and that, but they're good sports about it. The Snoqualmie Parkway Rehabilitation Project was completed on time and under budget in a very short time frame, using a $5 million state appropriation. The Mill Pond and Stone Quarry roads were also repaved on time and under budget, but not with that 5 million from the state. We paid for those. And the sidewalk repair and replacement program continues. I really want to single out Hin for this project. She was in charge of all the paving projects. She got her first meeting face-to-face with a bear during the project. She is a wonderful person, had a great attitude, and she really knocked it out of the park on both those projects. The Parks and Public Works Department replaced the Riverview Park playground equipment with an inclusively designed railroad-themed park. In other department milestones, the Stormwater and Urban Forestry Division replaced street teams on Autumn Avenue and began the repair process on a lot of the down stormwater fencing, which was a point of concern for the citizens. And really want to single out the inmate program who is doing that work. They're just incredible, and they do a fantastic job. I think they did over 10 miles of fencing last year.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
Mr. Johnson.
I'm just curious about the all-inclusive playground. Do we have a timeline on that?
You should drive by.
The one under construction at Centennial.
Yes.
It is running a little bit late due to the wonderful weather we had during the construction. But it should be done by the end of next month.
Thank you.
So a good portion of the playground's up. So some of, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed.
It's great.
The Community Development Department launched an extensive 2-year project to update the city's comprehensive plan, including hosting 2 community open houses. The city also completed the housing strategy plan with housing needs and a middle housing analysis. The Communications Division completed the community-wide survey results, which indicated residents continue to enjoy an exceptional quality of life and a highly value the natural environment, including parks and recreation opportunities. Residents also have an overall feeling of being safe. Nicole knocked it out of the park with Snoqualmie Winter Lights and Big Truck Day events which spotlighted Snoqualmie regionally. I think her Big Truck Day event draws from like an hour in every direction.
Wow.
The city organizes and supported over 22 other community events with local partners and also held 25 blood drives last year with a total of 1,128 donors.
I hate to interrupt again, Mayor,
Counselor Johnson.
but I've been to both the Big Truck Day here and the one in Seattle, and ours is better.
Hey,
I'll make sure Nicole gets that information tomorrow. The Finance Department has completed the first phase of the ERP system implementation project that will streamline our financial system and provide customer service options with online portals. It also collects all the information in one spot, so we don't have to go search for it all over the place. That's a huge project. And finally, these weren't ranked in priority. The city clerk's office obtained a Washington Secretary of State local records grant to digitize, securely store, and manage the city's public records utilizing Laserfish enterprise content management software. This is huge. Bringing Laserfish in really does standardize us with a lot of the industry. That is the gold standard with every city clerk I've ever known. And not only did she do that, but she also brought our records back from the state archives. So we're not renting space there anymore for dusty old boxes. And she's processing through those records and caring for them the way they should be. We're not there yet. There's a huge road to go, but there is progress being shown, and really hats off to Dina for taking that on.
Counselor Benson.
I'm assuming these are trained laserfish and safe. She's safe, right?
She is safe.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, City Administrator Chambliss. It was a busy year and I think successful year. So thank you. Next item, do we have any report from the commissions or committees or regional reports? Councilor Benson?
Parks and Events Commission, one thing that came up in our last meeting that I thought was really exciting was a real desire by the commissioners to update our city signage, like our trail signs, and have better wayfinding in the city for our businesses. And I know that was also public comment that was brought forward recently that some of our wayfinding signs are inaccurate or insufficient. Mr. Hamlin mentioned that he's got somebody on his staff that might be really good at heading up a project like that. If we see anything come up on that, I think it's something that our community really wants, certainly our Parks and Events Commission really wants, and I think would be really good for our citizens and our businesses.
Great, thank you. Any other reports? Okay, seeing none. We have another executive session. So tonight we have executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101I to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to agency enforcement actions, or to discuss legal counsel representing the agency litigation or potential litigation to which the agency, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding the discussion is likely to result in an adverse legal or financial consequence to the agency, lasting approximately how many minutes do you think? 20?
Let's say
Sorry.
30. I think it's
We'll start
reasonable.
with 30 minutes.
Set us off when you're done.
With a, we'll take a 5-minute recess and then 30 minutes. So Mayor
Are we
Pro Tem Holloway,
expecting- Is there potential for action after the?
there's
executive
possible
session?
action will be taken
Okay.
following this
We're gonna come back.
executive
We're gonna go
session.
upstairs.
So after the executive session is concluded, we will return to open session at approximately it'd be like
37.
9:30, 9:40. 9:42, adding math with our 5 minutes.
Oh,
Probably a potty break in there,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Hold it.
All right. It is 9:51 and we just returned from executive session and there is no further action. So council, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
So it's moved by Mayor Pro Tem Holloway, second by Councilor Johnson to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? We are adjourned. Thank you.